So hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the EduTap success stories. And guys, today I'm really glad to have with me Mr. Narendran, who has been selected as an assistant manager through the SIDBI Grade A exam 2022. So welcome to EduTap success stories session, Mr. Narendran. How are you?
Yes, sir, very fine.
Okay, so before beginning with some questions that how exactly was your journey? So can you just tell me that what exactly is your educational qualification and your work experience, if any?
Sure, sir. I am basically engineer background. I completed my engineering in 2015 in Karpong College of Engineering in Coimbatore. And afterwards, for next 2 years, I prepared for competitive exams. And then I secured a job in Central Bank of India as an assistant manager. So since then, I have been working as an assistant manager for last 4 years in a public sector bank.
Okay, so you're basically still working in the Central Bank of India, public sector bank. So
Yeah.
really glad to hear that. So Mr. Narendran, how did you decide that you should be preparing for SIDBI Grade A, or you were also preparing for some other regulatory body exams like RBI, SEBI, NABARD?
Yeah, basically, my basic focus was RBI Grade B exam. SIDBI notification was a surprise to me. It is not a regular recruitment cycle like other regulatory bodies. It is released once in 5 years only, right? So it was a surprise to me. Basically, I listened to some of the videos released by you and other platforms with ex retired SIDBI professionals. So that gave me an inspiration to apply for a SIDBI. I
Okay.
learned about how work life is there, how better job is there compared to other commercial banks. So I got inspired from that. So I decided to apply further and work hard for it.
Okay, that's really good. So the SIDBI Grade A exam, being selected as assistant manager. So this is your final aim, or you are still having some more aspirations, that is to join other regulatory bodies like RBI, SEBI and NABARD?
As I said, my basic aim was to get selected in RBI Grade B exam. Still, I am preparing for that.
Okay.
I used SIDBI as a rehearsal for this year exam RBI Grade B.
Hmm.
Phase one syllabus and both the descriptive syllabus in SIDBI are both common in both of the exams. So I used it as a medium to practice more. So that was my fundamental objective while appearing for SIDBI exam. But
Okay.
surprisingly, I got selected. I am very happy with that.
Okay. So you were basically preparing for the RBI exam. You are having that as your main aim, and uh, that's how you managed to clear the SIDBI grade exam. That's really good to hear that, Mr. Narendran.
Yes, sir.
So now let's come to the question that what exactly were your sources of preparation? As we all know that in the GA part as well, there was a separate, it was clearly mentioned in the syllabus that the questions will be more related to the banking and financial sector and the economics and social issues. So how did you prepare for that part, that is ESI part, which was mentioned in the general awareness session of the SIDBI grade exam?
Sure, sir. Actually, my preparation started in January
Hmm.
2022 because it was basically for RBI Grade B.
Hmm.
SIDBI's notification was released on March. So it was a surprise. So I started preparing for GA in January itself. My basic source is Affairs Cloud. I used to
Okay.
take daily notes from Affairs Cloud and take my own notes in OneNote. OneNote app is a wonderful app. So I
Okay.
daily used to take OneNote app, and having a very poor memory power. I have to use a lot of mnemonics techniques and
Okay.
mnemonics text and used pictures for
Yeah.
memorizing and retaining current affairs. So daily, this was my routine. Daily, I used to take current affairs notes and highlight the important keywords and make a short notes. How can I retain in my memory? Then I 3 to 5 times I used to revise every previous week current affairs and last month current affairs. This cycle was going on for last
Yes,
last couple
definitely.
of months before.
We always hear that revision is the key for the general awareness, and using the mnemonics as well as the pictures always helps us to retain these kind of current affairs, because they are very bulky in nature and we are really
Yeah,
required to cover a lot of current affairs for our exam. So that was really good to hear that you use all such kind of techniques in order to retain such kind of current affairs, so that you can successfully answer the questions during the exam. That was really good to
Moreover,
hear.
I used to color it differently when it comes to economics and finance current
Yeah.
affairs. I have to highlight in a different color so that I will be able to give a special focus for it.
Yeah, exactly. You are giving more special focus. You are giving some special focus to these specific things. That's how you are more, basically it gets more into you and you are able to retain them very properly. That is really good. So as you are a working aspirant, you are already working in the public sector bank. We all know that what kind of work pressure are there in the banks.
Yeah,
So any difficulties that you faced when you were preparing for the SIDBI Grade A exam, or as you already mentioned that you are preparing for the RBI Grade B exam as well? Any
sure, sir. There are
hardships
many.
that you had?
Yeah, surely many difficulties are there. The fundamental difficulty is that the time is the most fundamental difficulty because in
Definitely.
commercial banks, we don't get a time much because it is almost 6 days a week work style, and starting from 10 a.m. it ends in almost 7 or 7:30 p.m. So, and one more thing, when we come back to our home, we are completely exhausted, almost exhausted. So it is very difficult to regain our focus. So the fundamental thing is time is one thing, and awareness in the sense that getting back our focus into our studies, that is one more difficult. And energy levels are maintaining energy level, because studying is a difficult thing. We can do a
Definitely.
manual work, but studying is a creative work. No, it's a studying
Definitely.
is a creative work. So we need to manage our time and energy
So
to the optimal level.
that is what my question, Mr. Narendran, that how did you manage your time, your maintaining your energy levels in order to give all that you have, that is left in order to prepare for that exam that you are really aiming for?
No, my strategy is that we have to approach competitive exam not like a sprint. We have to look this like a marathon. We have to
Mm.
maintain a consistency, even if we are not going in a very fast pace. We
Mm.
have to just at least jog. Consistency matters a lot. So my basic routine was that I would sleep at night at 9 p.m. sharp at 9 p.m. and wake up at 2 a.m. This is my routine. And after that, within 1 hour I would complete all the necessary things. I used to do a little exercise as well. Then after that, 3 to 3:30 I used to do a small prayer,
Okay.
something to calm my mind. This is
Yeah.
my routine, whether be
Mhm.
it a competitive exam, or I generally do that. After that, I used to focus on my studies. If I sometime I used to take a little nap as well, around 7 or 8 p.m. But after that 8:30 I used to start for my job. And after that, even during my job, if I get a small time here and there, I used to do little things. This is very important. We should not completely stop doing it. We should at least do a small thing in our office time, so that our focus will be alive. When if we don't do anything at all, we will be completely lost in the evening. You get my point? So
Yeah,
it is very
definitely.
important to at least do a small things there, so that our focus will be alive. So in evening, I used to get back around 6 or 6:30, and after that, after taking a small bath, I again refocus on my studies. So
Yes. So
until 9 p.m. After that, I would start the routine again.
So these small steps that you took during your whole preparation phase, and collectively how they produce the results, that is what we all know, and we are having that you are already been selected as a SIDBI Grade A officer. So really good to hear that how, and all our viewers might just note down this point, guys. See, these are the small steps that we should take, and see, a healthy mind is really required in order to prepare for that. And as Mr. Narendran has also mentioned that he was also doing such kind of things like exercise is really very important. So really good to hear that. So at
One more
times,
thing,
Mr. Yeah,
one more
please.
thing, sir. I used to have apps like Habit apps, Grow
Yeah.
app. They can help us to track our progress. I used to use many trackers to track my progress, whether I keep my consistency or not. So that also helped me a lot.
Yes, it is also very important that, see, you are moving in a direction, but you should track, you must track that whether that direction in which you are moving towards, whether it is taking you to your goal or not. So tracking is also really very important. Analyzing yourself is really very important. So Mr. Narendran, my next question is about that. We all know that as an aspirant, there are times when we feel demotivated. Things are not working. For example, somebody is giving the mock test, they are not getting that kind of score. Sometimes you don't get support from your family as well, or friends. Means there sometimes there are problems, and every person has some kind of problems in their life. So how did you get yourself motivated during those tough times? What was your
Yes,
source
sir.
of motivation?
Basically, during our course of preparation, every candidate faces so much confusion. The basic source of confusion is too much attachment towards the results. I gave this exam with a motive just to express my best in this exam.
Yeah.
I have a least expectation from this exam. That will, the moment we get disappointment in our be it through the mock interviews, mock exams, or some other things, we tend to get confused. Our strategy will be basically collapsed. The key to keep the clarity is that we have to least expectation from the exam. We have to have the least expectation from the exam. So that we will be able to objectively view the situation and make a right steps that is opted from the situation.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
my fundamental focus was to express my best of my ability. That was my fundamental focus. So that helped me to progress in a joyful manner, not not pushing too hard to achieve results.
Yeah, exactly. People becomes, yes, our preparation must be result oriented, but we should not so much focus on the results. That is what you also did during your preparation phase, that you focus more on
Emotionally
the
we should not tied
steps.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So as you are already working in the Central Bank of India, so you must have given some exams earlier as well, previously as well. So were there any kind of learning that you took from those exams when you will be when you were giving the SIDBI grade exam?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Already I got selected in IBBS, so
Yeah,
that was basically a foundation for me for any other banking exam. And then and there I used to give some other exams. I attempted a National Housing Bank was there.
yeah,
That was also released 5 to 6 months before that. So I even attempted that. All other exams will basically push us forward. Even if not SIDBI, other windows will be open. If
yeah,
we keep
definitely.
working. That is why I never focus on any particular very aggressively on a particular exam. All that I used to do is just improve our ability. Result is very important. Not an emotional attachment, that will only hamper our progress.
Yeah. So what were your learnings basically from those exams? That for example, I can mention that mean like going through that particular process, the pressure that we had, there is a TikTok timer that is going on
Yeah, yeah.
continuously. So what were your learnings that helped you in steering the process of SIDBI grade exam successfully?
It is very important to practice in the real environment. All those exams were really a practice for me. One thing is how we practice during our preparation. Another important thing is that how we deliver ourselves in the real exam. The mindset is very important during the examination. I used to stop talking during the exam day with anyone. I used to put
Hmm,
my phone in silence. I don't even talk with any other candidates. Being remaining silent, and we have to enter the examination hall with a creative mind, not with
definitely.
a combating mind. No, we can't fight with our questions. The questions will be always different than our expectation. So we should enter. These are all the things I learned. In my experience, whenever I attempted the exams with a lightheartedness, but seriousness should be there, but lightheartedness. Whenever I attended the lightheartedness, I was able to deliver best of my abilities. So
Very, very
this
important
is
point that you has
and
mentioned.
creative mind is a very important thing. We have to enter the examination hall with a very least expectation, because we don't know how the questions will be, and there should not
Exactly.
be any trace of thought to get selected in the examination. All that should be done is what is the question and what is the right thing to do in that situation.
Exactly. Even selecting the questions rightly is an art when you are giving an exam. So when I talk about exam, Mr. Narendran, there are four sections basically: quant, reasoning, English, and general awareness, and then we have descriptive. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
we will be going through all these sections. So first of all, please tell me that how did you prepare for your quant, reasoning, and English? What were your sources? And uh, were making your own notes, or you were just watching the videos or solving the MCQs? What was your kind of strategy for these particular sections?
Actually, I usually start with the syllabus of the quants and reasoning. What are the topics? Then I used to
Yeah.
group the syllabus. For example, puzzles can be grouped separately. Then we can DA and number series. These are the things we can group separately, and other miscellaneous time and work. And these topics can be grouped. I approach each group separately because DA is very important. That has to be given a
Yes.
special attention. Likewise, puzzles also a very different section, so that has to be given special attention. And so I used to do like this. And one more thing, I used to sharpening our intellect is very to for precision and speed. So I used to write a tables and daily do a memory for that. And if something is very difficult, I used to mark it separately and used to revise many times. Tables and additional adding skills and subtracting skills, these are all be very useful even if you know conceptually strong.
Yeah.
And our precision and the speed, these things are very important. So I used to do this separately, studying tables and squaring cubes, all those things. And above all, I used to daily do the sectional text more than general marks. I used to do a sectional text and topic based test, because that will give a confidence over a particular topic. That will help us to choose the question in the exam. Only if we are confident about a particular topic, you will be able to choose, right? So,
Definitely.
and moreover, I used to analyze the toppers marks. In every mock test, there used to come a toppers, how much time the topper took for the solving this particular question, and how much I took for the. So I used to analyze the gap. What I did not know that the topper knows, and what is his speed and my speed. So I used to always analyze this thing, and I used to close the gap as much as possible.
Okay.
And this way, I was able to progress in the right direction.
Yeah. So, how many mock tests you gave, and what was exactly the importance of mock test when you were preparing for the SIDBI grade exam?
So I think I just give a general mock test one or two only, but I used to do many sectional mock tests, and most of them were particular chapter oriented. So that helped me to build a confidence in a chapter oriented test. So that also helps us to choose the questions in the real exam.
Yeah. So you cleared all your concepts. You gave basically topic-based sectional tests, and that's how you were able to manage all these kind of sections. So can you tell me that what were your strong areas when you talk about the quant, reasoning, and English separately?
And with regard to reasoning, puzzles is something I needed to practice a lot, but I did
Yeah.
not practice a lot. I did not have the time. But
Hmm.
my strength was in quants and reasoning. I am always good at. But practice was something I did not have much time. Otherwise, I could have performed even better. I scored only 84 out of 120 in the exam. I
Okay.
could have performed better, more than even 100 marks, had I had the time enough,
Yeah.
sufficient time.
Yeah.
I could have.
Definitely. So, when did you started your preparation for the SIDBI grade exam?
I think just after the notification.
Okay, so just after the notification.
Yeah.
So basically, you prepared very well during that particular phase, that is after the notification, and you were also having some strong foundation as you have already
Yeah.
appeared for IBPS PO exam. So that must have helped you in sailing through the quant, reasoning, English in that SIDBI grade exam. Okay, so now coming to the current affairs part, the general awareness section, we all know that there are basically they mentioned about the two topics, that is banking and financial sector, and economics and social issues. So for the economics and social issues and banking and financial sector, what exactly was your approach?
As I told earlier, I used to affairs cloud was a main source,
Hmm.
and whenever I find some financial and economic news, I used to highlight differently so that I will give special attention.
Okay.
And uh, but one thing the one mistake I did was I did not revise the current affairs of my own notes. As a result, I lost at minimum 5 marks. No, I scored 29 in GA. I could have easily scored 35. It was only easy to moderate.
Yes.
Even when I came back after the examination, there are many things in my notes that I mistakenly marked wrongly. So the revision I failed, and this was my strategy. I used to take daily notes and highlighting the important things and revising that, giving special attention. That was my strategy.
So you made your own notes for the current affairs, but one thing that you did wrong was you didn't revise them properly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know that revision is the key for the current affairs, and making our notes is really that much helpful, Mr. Narendra?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. I am always comfortable with my own notes. By making notes, we make sure that I know this particular current affairs. If we just read others material, I know that we won't get a much confidence.
Okay, and
but making notes is not just typing. We can simply copy and paste the things.
Okay,
to save our time.
So you were basically making online notes. Yeah.
OneNote, using OneNote.
OneNote, yeah, as you mentioned earlier as well.
I used to take notes in my laptop, then revise it in my mobile app. Both can be connected.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So you were also tech savvy during your preparation, that you use see, this is how we must efficiently use our resources, and very appropriately you have mentioned this kind of example. So this is a really very good message to our viewers, that how you can be tech savvy and you can use your resources efficiently, like Mr. Narendran used he used to make the notes on the laptop and he used to revise them on his mobile app. So that is how that is how we can use our resources very properly. So Mr. Narendran, we all know that there was a descriptive answer writing as well. So how did you manage that? You practice the typing and you worked on your typing speed as well. When did you started practicing the descriptive writing? So what exactly was your approach in sailing through this section of the exam?
As I told earlier, my descriptive was not much challenging to me because I already studied all those topics for RBI Grade B exam from EduTap. I have been a student for EduTap for more than 1.5 years. So I am familiar with the economics and the finance topics. So, I appeared for SIDBI only as a part of my RBI preparation. So initially I planned to cover all the technical topics in finance and economics. But later on, I realized that SIDBI is not going to ask a much deeper questions. All the questions, because no such syllabus, no detailed syllabus has been given in the notification. So I recognize that only the topics in current issues and the most important topics like poverty, which have been the challenges of Indian economy. So such topics only will be asked in the SIDBI exam. So I just ignored the technical concepts, and I just as the examination came closer, so I just took up the current issues. I made a syllabus for myself. What are the current issues? CBDC was in the news, and poverty and unemployment has been a major challenge in our Indian economy. So and many financial fintech developments were there in our financial sector. So I used to take all the bad bank was there. So many such current topics, I just made a blueprint for that. So then I took I searched in the internet and I just collected the key points. And the with regard to MSME, MSME could be easily asked in SIDBI. So I used to take some catchy facts like MSMEs are more than 6 billion MSMEs are there, and very poor access to credit they are having.
Their contribution to the India's GDP and
GDP is very high, 40%. And exports is also. So this kind of catchy ideas are very important. That will help us to give an analytical answer. So having a very short of time, I used to collect only the key ideas related to the most important issues in our economy and the recent developments. I did not focus on the technical concepts. And already I was familiar with the technical concepts from EduTap. This was my basic strategy, sir. And I used to practice some mocks as well.
Okay, so you also practice some mocks. So as you have mentioned that you were preparing for the RBI Grade B and you took the EduTap material. So how EduTap material helped you in sailing through this descriptive writing section? That was really a very important section when we talk about the exam.
I think EduTap, that is a, we can safely ignore the technical concept. That is one
Yeah.
thing. And another thing, we can pick up the English essays from EduTap.
Okay.
English essays which are related to finance and economics topics,
Yeah.
related to skill development, related to poverty. There we can take a very good inputs from the essays. What are the data used in that? So I used so many inputs from the EduTap English essays. English
Yes.
general essays that are related to finance and economics, and I also browsed from the internet to take inputs.
Mm.
And apart from that, we can get a sample of questions. What
Definitely.
kind of questions?
Mm.
That also I took it from EduTap.
So you use the further material from the EduTap that was really helpful for the descriptive answer writing in the SIDBI Grade A exam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Model answers, model
The
questions,
model question
and
answers.
important key points. We can't
Yes.
memorize everything. We can only take the key
Okay.
points and our understanding.
So really glad to be a part of your preparation, as well as you have mentioned that EduTap really helped you in this section, and really good to hear that, Mr. Narendran. So can you give our viewers a final revision strategy for all the quant, reasoning, English, current affairs, as well as the descriptive answer writing, that what exactly should be the strategy, and what is the right way of revising all for all such kind of sections?
Actually, when it comes to revision, priority is a keyword here. We will be having very short of time, particularly when we approach the exam. So we
Definitely.
have to have a priority. We can't revise everything. So for priority, we should be having a clarity of the syllabus of the examination, where the most of the marks goes, where our strength lies, where we can leverage our own strength. So I used to give priority to those topics which are more important, which are MSME related,
Yes.
which are more important in our economy always. And particularly the current, when it comes to current affairs, I used to revise only the highlighted things. When I what I highlighted in my notes.
Yes.
So that way I saved a lot of time.
So prioritizing the things is really very important when we are revising for all such kind of sections, and especially when we talk about the current affairs, reading from own notes using the highlighted parts, because already we are there is a time crunch when you are preparing, and you know that the exam will be having in a there is a very less time duration between the notification as well as the exam. So covering all such kind of bulky current affairs, so this is the thing that is really very helpful, that is making our own notes and prioritizing the things, because in the exam it is not that you should just go by a heart that you have done everything, but there are some certain topics which are really very important from the exam that must be focused on and that are really very important. So as we all know now, moving ahead towards the next process of the selection, that is the interview. So can you tell me about your approach toward interview? How did you prepare for your interview, any mock interviews that you gave, and how it helped you in sailing through this particular process of the exam?
Actually, interview was the phase which helped me to secure a final selection, because I got
Yeah.
to 91 marks in interview, which is a very
Oh.
good mark. I was even so surprised to get this mark. I think when I started interview preparation, the major challenge was syllabus. What to cover in interview? There is no such thing. What is the syllabus for interview? There is nothing like that given in the syllabus in the notification. So I was completely blind what to study for this interview. I was very much struggling with that.
Yeah.
Very later. I think before 3 days before my interview date, I think EduTap Ankit sir released a video what to cover, what is the scope of interview. I think he also released an interview with the ex-panel member.
Yeah.
So that was a very helpful thing that gave a very good idea about what to cover and what not to cover. It is basically a syllabus for the interview. But I wish that could have been released very earlier in my preparation.
Okay, noting your point, and yeah, we will be working on that as well.
One more thing, I booked a mock interview with the EduTap,
Okay.
and EduTap gave a very early interview after I think 10 15 days prior to my original interview date.
Yes.
So I felt that this is something won't be useful, because I haven't not even started the interview preparation. They are scheduled my mock interviews, and how they perform, I know nothing about interview. So I just appeared for the mock interview. I have to say this, it was an icebreaker for me, because that gave me so much input to my subsequent preparation. So so giving a mock interview at the earliest stage also will be helpful, because it will be an icebreaker. It will give so much input to us, what to cover, what not to cover. We'll be able to discuss with our panel members what is the scope of our coverage, what are the kind of questions that could be asked in the real examination. So that way I was able to build my own syllabus. Basically,
Okay.
I made several classification, like one thing is related to our own profile and our HR related questions.
Hmm.
My background, my education background, my family background, my strength and weaknesses, and my work experience, such questions. And next, coming to the MSME, MSME is one different section. What are the schemes related to MSMEs, and government? So for example, what to say, government releases always some kind of updation in MSME. For example, it has revised the MSME classification. I think this is very important. 1 year before it
Definitely.
revises. Yes. So this kind of updation, government updation, is one area I segregated. And one more important thing, I mostly focused on SIDBI website. SIDBI website, and more importantly, there is an annual report released by SIDBI every year. That gives a very good source of preparation. Even I was not I was not confident of initially when I get the suggestion from others. When I really see the annual report, that give me a very good confidence, that confidence about SIDBI. Very well presented the annual report is, very user friendly, very even layman can understand the annual report, such a presentation they have given.
So
So
basically, you
annual,
use the SIDBI website and the reports that were being released by SIDBI. So this is a very, very important point that we must note here, that these websites and what are the notifications as well as the reports that are being released by such organizations of which the exam you are preparing for. So that is really very important to be covered.
yes sir, sure sir.
So
And one more thing, the most important thing is our own profile, especially candidates who are from banking industry.
hmm,
Most of the question in my real interview was from my own banking industry. So
okay.
I used to download my own bank's policies.
Hmm,
What is the MSME policies,
yes.
and what is the loan policy? So I used to download my own company's policy, and I give a read about that.
Yeah, that should have been the probable questions to be asked in the interview. So, Mr. Narendran, can you tell me that how the panel members who took your mock interview, which were being scheduled by EduTap, and how did it help in sailing through this process?
The panel members were so cordial, they were so friendly, they gave a very sincere feedback to me. They gave my strength and weaknesses,
Hmm.
and they also gave me confidence. One of my panel members said that you are a very suitable member for, and all the things you have to do is some kind of suggestions. So that gave me basically a confidence to my final interview.
So that feedback basically gave you the confidence, and can you tell us that our viewers that the kind of interview you had, the actual interview, as well as the mock interview that was being scheduled and arranged by EduTap for you for your SIDBI Grade A. So was it like that actual interview, and the questions that were being asked by the panel members were also the questions which were being answered, which were being asked to you during your actual interview process for the SIDBI Grade A exam?
Actually, I attended 2 mock interviews
Yeah.
and 1 real interview. Three were very different,
Hmm.
but both helped me in some or other way. You know, all the questions were different, and but it is helpful. But
Hmm.
nevertheless, it is helpful in many ways.
Do you remember any some questions that were being asked to you during the interview process?
I was asked, I think, the 10 to 12 question. More, all those questions were related to my own profile only. You know, the
Okay.
moment they heard that I am from a banking industry
Yeah.
and I have an experience in lending and deposits, they started throwing questions in lending related. You know, they asked me about the first question was what kind of proposals you have processed in your office. I said that I have processed many MSME loans and retail loans also. So they next they asked what is the particular things that you look for in an MSME. I said that we look for the balance sheets and the profitability and the current ratios. And basically we do a due diligence and we do an inspection and how much stocks they have. So I said the entire process and they feel good about that. They recognize that he's a very good candidate suitable for our organization, because all that they are looking for is whether this particular candidate will be suitable to do the jobs what is really being done in the SIDBI. What they are doing actually, they are processing loans, they are lending. That is what they are doing basically. So they are basically what they expect is that the candidate should be very comfortable with balance sheets and ratio analysis. This is
Yes.
particularly for banking oriented candidates. But in general candidates who is having no experience, I think they are asked only basic questions, because I have discussed with other candidates also.
Yes.
So they are asked very general questions only. But if you are from a banking sector, you can expect these questions very well. So most of the questions were related to current ratios, and they also asked very tricky questions like if someone is coming with a very less current ratio, they have their current ratio is declined, would you sanction any loan? They asked it like that. And why current ratios decline for a particular organization? They ask very technical questions. I gave them not a very good answer, but a satisfactory answer, showing that I have a comfortable feeling with the balance sheet analysis. I have a foundation with that. So that is what I basically expressed.
So
I
in a
think that
nutshell, basically your interview was more over about your work experiences, and you were also able to steer your interview during the actual interview which was being taken in the in the second phase of the exam. So your work experience really helped you in that, and you
sure,
also
sir.
steered the whole interview in that direction, and that is really a very very good point and very advantageous. So that's how that EduTap also helped you. I'm really glad to hear that. Yes, as a part of your success story and your story of clearing the SIDBI Grade A exam, so EduTap also played a very important role there. So really glad to hear that. So uh, as a aspirant, Mr. Narendran, we all know that there are various moments of low, and what were your three pillars in your life, your three sources that basically get yourself driven throughout this particular phase of preparation?
I think I believe in a higher power, so I always rely on God. I do daily prayers. You
Yes.
know, whenever I get confused, I used to take a piece of paper and I just write everything, whatever is in my mind. Now, whatever clutter
Yeah.
is in my mind, I used to just
Yes.
put it in my paper, and I used to sincerely pray for some peaceful mind. And
Okay.
also, I would be grateful for many things. You know, there is nothing lagging in my present life. I am given a very good pay. I don't
Yes.
have any big liabilities. You know, my life is already good. There is nothing to confuse or nothing to worry about. So this is one thing I always do in my life. And you know, we have to be dispassionate to the results. We should not be so emotionally attached. That means we are putting others down. Everyone is preparing their best. No, we have to always compete with ourselves, not with others. So I never have a very strong passion to the results. I will do my part, and I'm happy that I got an opportunity to express myself. I got an opportunity to build my own strength. So that was my strategy. And one more thing, we always have to honor ourselves. You know, we should not beat ourselves. I still remember the day of my interview. And the morning, I just
Hmm.
before the interview, I honored myself. I have progressed up to this. This itself is a success. So what I gained in this process, I gained a strength. I gained I gained a mastery over my own weaknesses. So I used to always honor myself, even if the failure comes. You know, there is nothing to beat ourselves. There is always
Exactly.
many things positive about ourselves.
So taking the positive aspects and focusing more on the steps which will take you to the result is more important rather than just focusing on the results only.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really a very good thing. So we all know that there is a sometimes, as you are also working aspirant, and there are times of stress. So do you have any stress buster strategy, something like that, which help the people, and which you basically did in order to de-stress yourself? So any stress buster that you have that you want to give to our viewers that they can also use while their preparation phase and their phases of ups and downs?
Yes, sir, sure. There were many moments I used to get stressful. Whenever I was stressful, I just would analyze what is the source of stress. I have been practicing. There is a exercise called mindfulness exercise. I have been practicing for last 7 years. We will just observe our contents of mind. What is the source of our stress? In that process, you will discover something, and I have a own notice board in my room. I used
Okay.
to just keep it my notice board. What was my discovery? No, the most important thing is that we have to avoid many things. We have to avoid our distraction. If you avoid most of our distraction, we will have an energy in our mind. I completely shut down my WhatsApp. I switched off my all the notifications during my examination, even prior to that. No,
Okay.
I don't have any notification in my cell phones. I don't have even WhatsApp notification. I just once in a while I open my WhatsApp and see the messages. So restraining our cutting off all the distraction will give us so much energy to our mind. And one more thing, whenever we are stressful, we have to postpone the stress. I will work for 1 hour and after that I will be stressful. This strategy was very helpful. When we work very intensively, our self-esteem will be boosted. And after that, our stress will also pass away automatically. So these are the some of the strategies I used for my own.
Okay, that's really good to hear that the kind of strategies that you use. So viewers, you can also use such kind of things, and the mindfulness is really very important. And as we have already mentioned earlier, that healthy mind is really very I think it is the key element that you must have when you are preparing and when you are aiming anything in your life. है ना? So Mr. Narendran, any overall message that you want to give to the viewers that that will be helpful for them in their preparation for the exam?
I would simply tell that they have to be detached from the results first. All the result oriented different. We have to bring the results. We have to be serious, but we have to be light-hearted. And all that we should be trying is increasing our ability, so that if one door is closed, another door will be opened. I was not
Yes.
expecting SIDBI; it was open to me. I failed in the National Housing Bank. I failed in SEBI exam, but this door
Yes.
was open to me. I did not give up my preparation. So we have to be detached, and all that we have to do is increase our capabilities. So that will be helpful in surely for sure the suitable opportunity will be given to us.
So very important point mentioned by Mr. Narendran, and that all our viewers, guys, please note these things. These are really very basic in life, and these are something that we don't basically practice well. So this is something which is also going to help you guys in your preparation for the exam that you are aiming, or any other thing that you're aiming in your life. So it was really a very good conversation with you, and a lot of many congratulations to you, Mr. Narendran, from the whole team of EduTap. And we really wish you a great success in your career as assistant manager in SIDBI Grade A. And I really wish that you should also fulfill all your dreams that you're having, for example, of joining the regulatory bodies as well. So
Yes, sir.
really wish that as well for you.
Thank you so much,
and
sir.
and yes, definitely our viewers must have got a lot of advantages, and they must have learned a lot of things from you, the personality you are, the techniques that you used in order to keep yourself healthy, your mind healthy, and also your preparation strategies in order to sailing through the process of the SIDBI Grade A exam. So once again, congratulations, and we wish you all the best for upcoming future. And viewers, we wish you all the best to you as well for your upcoming exams. So thank you, Mr. Narendran, for connecting with us. It was really a very nice conversation. Wish you all the
Thank you.
best and have a great day.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.